Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host, Tom Sorry from On the Hot Podcast. Today, episode 33 will be a solo episode with your host today. It's going to be pre-recorded. I'm going to be putting in all three of our platforms today, our Instagram, our Facebook, and our YouTube accounts. This is going to be episode 33 for you guys, and it's also coming on Apple Podcasts. But also, I have an update for you guys. The last couple of days, I've been forming a blog for our podcast to grow. It's going to be something extraordinary, something great for you guys to look at on a weekly basis when we don't do content for you guys. We don't do episodes for you guys all the time. Not every day of the week, but you're going to be able to look on our blog of updates. We're going to have every sport: football, basketball, baseball, boxing, college sports, college basketball, college football. It's going to be something extraordinary to look at. So in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to need you guys to tune in to that blog. It's going to be something great, and I need you guys to share it more so the podcast grows even more. Thank you guys for the support so far, but once we get that out there, I think it's going to take the podcast to new heights and new levels. But with all that being said, I had to get down to business, and the first topic, unfortunately, that I have to cover this week, something that I thought I wouldn't have to do after Wild Card Weekend, but we're going to kick things off today with the Dallas Cowboys. With the third-seeded Cowboys getting upset to the sixth-seeded 49ers on Sunday in a wild card victory for the 49ers, 23-17. While the Cowboys season ended earlier than expected, I will share my thoughts on where the Cowboys go at this point. So, I wish I had an honest answer. I really don't know what this franchise does moving forward. I'm still upset to this day. It's been 3 days since the loss, and every other game that I watched after that loss, it's been hard to watch because I know my team had way more to offer this season, and we were knocked out in the first round to a six-seeded team with home field advantage. It makes me sick to my stomach. I could barely watch the Chiefs and Steelers game that night, and the next night, the Rams and Cardinals, I barely was able to watch the whole entire game without thinking my team should still be in it. But the star power that this Cowboys team, I literally said the week before we played Philadelphia, I said this team has the most star power that I have seen from a Dallas Cowboys team of my lifetime. The names of Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, even though he tore his ACL, he was still a part of our roster. Dalton Schultz, the two great backs, and Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. You look at the defensive side, DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs. I go on and on how great this Cowboys team was. From offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, well-rounded team. But we couldn't get over the hump. And this is the problem with this team. And I still believe this team is still, the roster that we have now, we might not have the pieces and all the pieces that got us to the dance this year, next season. But I still believe we're more high-powered offense and high-powered defense than most of the teams still left in the tournament right now in the playoffs. But like I said, we're a great football team, but we're not a disciplined football team. Down the stretch, when everyone said the Cowboys couldn't beat good teams and they were losing games that weren't against divisional opponents, those games, mind you, we played Kansas City. Okay, the Kansas City Chiefs are the Kansas City Chiefs. What are you going to do about that? We lost that game only 19-9, and we didn't have Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb in that loss. Move on from that. They outplayed us in that game, realistically. You move on to the Thanksgiving game. Were we better than the fifth-seeded Raiders? Absolutely. You move to our next loss, to the Arizona Cardinals. Were we better than 11-6 Cardinals that started off 7-0 in the beginning of the season? Absolutely. And then I still believe we are better than the San Francisco 49ers. We're a great team that's not disciplined because down the stretch, we were getting penalized more than any other team in the league, and it was costing us in every game I just said in a loss. You look at the Raiders game, the Thanksgiving matchup with Anthony Brown, the pass interference definitely cost us the game right there. The penalties against the Cardinals definitely cost us. Penalties against the 49ers this weekend definitely cost us. So we're a team that's very good, but shoots ourselves in the foot because of the penalties that we create, and all the big chunk plays that we get is taken back, and we're at a first and long, first and 15, first and 20, sometimes even a third and 25 at that. We keep shooting ourselves in the foot. And in this big time game where the world was watching, this was the most watched wild card matchup since the 2015 matchup between the third-seeded Dallas Cowboys and the sixth-seeded Detroit Lions. That was the most viewed wild card game since then. So what do you do when all the lights are on you? You have 14 penalties at most in a playoff game in NFL history. 14 penalties is unacceptable. And then as much as I love Kellen Moore, he is I don't know what's going to happen with him next season. I don't know if he's going to go elsewhere. I know he's got a lot on his mind, a lot on his plate lined up. He's getting interviews with the Minnesota Vikings, interviews with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's getting looked at everywhere. But the problem, and I love him so much, and I gave him his props throughout the whole entire season for being a good offensive play caller, right? So what do you do when your big stage, when the world's watching you? What do? You get the ball, you run the ball barely. We only had Zeke and Tony Pollard carry the ball for 16 times and the whole entire game. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So a great offensive genius is supposed to take advantage of that with Nick Bosa, their best pass rusher, arguably their best defensive player, out in the whole entire second half. You barely run the football. Then we look at Fred Warner going down late in the fourth quarter. You barely go to the running game at that. As soon as he gets out of the game with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you're still in the football game. You're going to mix in pass and run plays. You don't have to be so, I don't even know the word to say for this because it's making me scratch my head. You don't have to be so predictable of passing the ball all the time when you can mix the run in with two great backs. You had, like I said weeks ago, running the football would be key. And if you had Dak Prescott throw the ball over 40 times, which he threw the ball 43 times in this loss, that's not successful and we would end up losing this game. I said Zeke was your power back. Tony Pollard was your speed back. Utilize them in any which way you can. You barely used them, and total for that, you only gave them the ball a total of 16 times running the ball. The final play of the game was even worse. I would like to know if it was Kellen Moore. I don't think it was Kellen Moore, but I like to know why the heck Mike McCarthy called this play. Okay, you get the ball back with 38 seconds left. God was on our side. We were blessed to even get the ball back because if you guys remember on that 4th and inches play where the play before Deebo Samuels was stopped short, it was 4th and inches and Kyle Shanahan, and I literally said it before the play was ran, he's going to run a quarterback sneak with Jimmy Garoppolo. What did Kyle Shanahan do at 4th and inches? Lines up, Jimmy Garoppolo runs a quarterback sneak, but the play was offset and resulted in a 5-yard penalty because thankfully Trent Williams was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. It was not set before the play was ran. So that resulted in us getting the ball back with 38 seconds left. You get down the field with 0 timeouts, and I credit Dak Prescott for doing this. You get down the field with 38 seconds. You have 3 successful passing plays that got you 40 yards. You get down the field with 14 seconds left. At this point, you're down by 6. I wish we were down by 3 because a field goal would have sent us in overtime. But you're down by 6 with 14 seconds left. You dial up a design quarterback draw with 14 seconds left with no timeouts, and then you're not able to spike the ball regardless of what's going on with the referee, him bumping into Dak Prescott in the offensive line, and you're not able to spike the ball in time, and the season ends like that. Things like that, I don't have words for. I can't make this up. This is like something you would make in a movie if you were a Dallas Cowboys hater for the season to end like that. They actually have a legitimate shot to win this game because you already got down the field with 3 plays and a matter of 40 yards with no timeouts, so you have a chance. And you call up a quarterback draw, no timeouts, not realistic. And I feel like even if they thought this play would work, Dak Prescott should have slid and got down quicker despite the ball even faster, so you at least had one more play. No, they didn't even think this out at all. And the fact that Mike McCarthy said this is the right play call even makes it more sickening. And this is something I don't know. This is why I said in this segment, I don't know where this team goes moving forward because we have a lot of key free agent names that's going to be gone. Half of them might not return next season. You have Michael Gallup, who's set to be a free agent. He's going to get a lot of big money no matter if he re-signs with us, gets hit with a franchise tag, or goes elsewhere. You have Cedric Wilson, who could stay with us but had a very great year. I would love for him to stay with us if we don't keep Gallup. You have Dalton Schultz, who emerged as one of the best tight ends in the league this year. He could be gone looking for big money this year. Randy Gregory could be gone. There's so many names that could be gone, and you could possibly lose both your offensive and defensive coordinators who are honestly better than Mike McCarthy. So when a coach comes into an environment that has all the tools necessary to be a successful team like the Dallas Cowboys, a team that needs to get over the hump because the previous coach, Jason Garrett, was not only too soft to get us over the hump, but didn't know what exactly to do to get us over the hump. Good coaches achieve greatness to get those teams over the hump. And I'm going to tell you how I feel like that, or why I feel about that. if you look at our team, and it's really decorated, and the star player that's surrounded by everyone, no matter all the key ingredients to our great team, the offensive line, the great young defensive players we have, all the skill position players. The one player that will always stand out for the Dallas Cowboys, as long as he wears a uniform, is number 4 in Dak Prescott. Look at every quarterback in the league, what they have done and what they have in common to all their success so far. They have a great head coach who will do anything to put his team over the hump and make them be a successful football team. You look at Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They've taken over, they have dominated the AFC since Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid has become a great tag team. They already have a Super Bowl. They have 2 Super Bowl appearances, who could have another Super Bowl appearance this season. They've done great things so far as a tandem. Patrick Mahomes is one of the great quarterbacks in the league. Andy Reid is definitely one of the best head coaches in the league. You look at Tom Brady and Bruce Arians. Tom Brady is the greatest football player to ever put on a pair of pads. And you put him up with a good head coach and Bruce Arians, who doesn't put up with a lot of nonsense and is willing to do anything to make his team succeed. Why are they working so great in Tampa Bay? Because I just said it, it's peanut butter and jelly. They already have a Super Bowl ring to their name, and they could get another Super Bowl this year. You look at Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur. Yes, they don't see eye to eye. They might not agree on everything, but they do coexist on the football field. They have one of the best quarterback and coaching tandem wins in quite some time, and they already have two NFC championship appearances to their name. You look at Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh. Lamar Jackson already has an MVP award to his name, and John Harbaugh even asked him and his players what they want to do on 4th down, or going for extra point, or you want to go for a 2-point conversion. That brings success, and they had a lot of success together so far. They have a playoff win. I believe they should be doing more together, but that is a great duo of a great quarterback and a great head coach. And then you have Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. This tandem is one of my favorite also, because you see the leap that Josh Allen has taken. Yes, they acquired Stephon Diggs, but Sean McDermott has helped Josh Allen to the levels that we all expected him when he was drafted back in the 2018 draft. Josh Allen now has 3 playoff wins to his resume, and they've been to an AFC championship appearance, even though they lost to the Chiefs last year. So you see, a great quarterback and a great head coach brings you success. What do the Dallas Cowboys lack, and what have they lacked for the last decade? You had Tony Romo there, and I still believe to this day he should have won a Super Bowl. Tony Romo was stuck with Jason Garrett for a decade. You have Dak Prescott now, who was stuck with Jason Garrett for a number of years, but now Jason Garrett's been gone for 2 seasons. You have Dak Prescott, and you have who is a great quarterback and deserves the money, I believe. He's a $75 million guy in my eyes. He deserves the money. And you have Mike McCarthy, who once upon a time was a good head coach, who does have a Super Bowl to his name, but the game has evolved around him, and he doesn't know how to get better. So when you have 2 things like that, you're never going to get over the hump. And until Jerry Jones realizes that, this team's going to be stuck in reverse. Every time we're going forward, we're going to just go backwards. We're never going to get to an NFC championship appearance, and we're never going to get to a Super Bowl, never going to win a Super Bowl, as long as you keep getting puppet head coaches in this environment with a great coaching staff and a great team around you. So that's where I see the Dallas Cowboys, and I guess that's where I'm going to see this team moving forward. I hate to say it, but that's my thoughts on that, and hopefully things get better for that.